Our objective in this section is to be able to identify and write conditional statements. Let's take a look at this advertisement. McDonald's, I'm loving it. What does this advertisement tell you? Well, this restaurant, McDonald's, wants you to come to their restaurant because you'll be loving their food. So we could write this in such a way that is a little bit more descriptive. If you eat at McDonald's, then you'll love the food, or you'll love the experience. This is called a conditional statement. Conditional statements are often used in advertisements to tell you to buy their product because it's going to give you something that you'll like. Often, conditional statements can be written in an if-then form, where you have the premise or the hypothesis, like you eat at McDonald's, you buy this product, then what will be the result? Well, in this case, you'll love the food or you'll love the experience. And that's what we're talking about today, is conditional statements. A conditional statement is a logical statement that has two parts, a hypothesis or a premise and a conclusion. Hypothesis or premise and conclusion. It often is written and can be written or changed into if-then form, and symbolically written usually as P arrow Q, where P is the hypothesis and Q is the conclusion. Notice that that's going in alphabetical order. For example, if we identify the hypothesis or the premise and the conclusion of each conditional statement, it looks like this. If the weather is warm. So at the beginning, we're saying what could happen. That part after the if is the hypothesis. Then we should go swimming is the conclusion. So we assume that that's true, that that would happen, that the weather would be warm, and then what would result is that we should go swimming. Here's another conditional statement, and it's not written in if-then form. Can you tell what is the hypothesis and the conclusion of this statement? Usually, look for the verb, the action word. Let's write that up here in our notes. Look for the verb. The verb is the action word. All Parkview students are, there's our verb, patriots. So usually we split the sentence that way. So the hypothesis has something to do with being a Parkview student. Another way to write that is a student is from Parkview, then that student will be a patriot. So that part is going to tell us the conclusion, the part after the action word, the verb, and we'll use the same subject from the hypothesis, that the student is a patriot. It's important to be able to rewrite statements as conditional statements in if-then form, because sometimes it's just more helpful in that form. So let's take a few examples of statements that are not already in if-then form and translate them. Geometry students always pass the SOL. Remember, look for the verb. Look for the action word. Where is that in this first sentence? Geometry students always pass the SOL. So that's where we're going to split the sentence at the word pass. So what do we have as the hypothesis? We're going to have geometry students. So if a student takes geometry, and then we'll look at what comes after the action word, the SOL. Well, we need the verb in that part, so that's going to be with the SOL. Looking back at the subject, the student is going to be the one who passes the SOL. So if a student takes geometry, then the student, or he or she, will pass the SOL. Let's try another one. Feel free to pause the video at any time, try it on your own, and come back and see how you did. Any four-legged piece of furniture is a table. Here's the action word, is. That's where we're going to split the sentence. So look at what comes before the action word. Four-legged piece of furniture. So how can we say this in if then? If any four-legged piece of furniture, that doesn't really make sense. Well, a piece of furniture that has four legs, that sounds a little bit better. So if a piece of furniture has four legs, then something about being a table. Then that piece of furniture, is a table. Let's read that through and see if it makes sense. If a piece of furniture has four legs, then it is a table. Now, we're not saying if it's true or not. We're just saying that's what this sentence means written in if-then form, where it's clear what is the hypothesis and what is the conclusion. Let's take a look at the last one. Today is Monday if yesterday was Sunday. Now we've got a few action words in here. However, I already see the word if. Therefore, I know this part has to be the hypothesis. Whatever comes after the if is already the hypothesis. So we're just going to have to change this sentence around, starting with the hypothesis. If yesterday was Sunday, then, and we can go back to the rest of the sentence that we didn't say yet, today is Monday. See how that's done?